Talent will get you noticed, but it won't keep you there. You've seen it before. The smartest person in the room, ignored. The most skilled, overlooked. The one with the best ideas, still losing. And then there's someone else. Not the most talented, not the most impressive, but they rise. They lead. They influence. They win. And it doesn't make sense at first. Until you realize something uncomfortable. It's not about what you know. It's about how you handle people. And more importantly, how you handle yourself. Because raw talent is loud. It shows up in bursts. In moments. In performance. But emotional intelligence? That's quiet. Consistent. Subtle. Always working in the background. And it decides everything. Who trusts you? Who listens to you? Who follows you? That's the game most people don't realize they're playing. They think success is about being the best. So they focus on skills. Learning more. Practicing more. Improving more. And they should. But they ignore something critical. If you can't manage your emotions, your talent becomes unstable. One bad moment. One emotional reaction. One misread situation. And everything shifts. That's how people lose opportunities. Not because they weren't good enough. Because they weren't aware enough. Now here's the truth. Emotional intelligence isn't soft. It's control. Control over your reactions. Your tone. Your presence. And most people don't have it. They react instantly. They take things personally. They let emotions dictate behavior. And in the moment, it feels justified. But the consequences? They're real. You say something you didn't need to say. You respond in a way that closes doors. You damage trust, without realizing it. That's the cost. Not visible immediately. But it accumulates. Now here's the shift. You stop focusing only on what you can do. And you start focusing on how you show up. Because people don't just evaluate your ability. They evaluate your behavior. How you respond under pressure. How you handle disagreement. How you treat people when it matters. That's what builds reputation. Not talent alone. So the first shift. Awareness. Most people aren't aware of their emotional state. They just feel and act. No pause. No reflection. So start noticing. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? What triggered it? Because awareness is the foundation. Without it, you're reactive. With it, you have a choice. Now here's where control begins. Between stimulus and response, there's a gap. Most people don't use it. They react immediately. So the second shift. Use the gap. When something happens, pause. Even briefly. Because in that moment, you can choose your response. And that choice changes outcomes. Now listen carefully. Because this is where most people fail. They think emotional intelligence means suppressing emotions. It doesn't. It means understanding them. So the third shift. Label your emotions. Not vaguely. Specifically. Frustration. Disappointment. Insecurity. Because clarity reduces intensity. And when intensity drops, control increases. Now here's something deeper. Emotional intelligence isn't just about you. It's about others. Reading the room. Understanding dynamics. Noticing what's not being said. Because communication isn't just words. It's tone, timing, energy. So the fourth shift. Observe people. Not to judge. To understand. How do they react? What do they value? What affects them? Because when you understand people, you influence outcomes. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Being right isn't enough. You can be right and still lose. Because how you communicate matters. If your delivery creates resistance, your message doesn't land. So the fifth shift. Prioritize connection over being right. Not always, but often. Because people don't respond to logic alone. They respond to how they feel. And if you ignore that, you lose influence. Now here's where identity changes. Most people define themselves by their skills. I'm smart. I'm talented. I'm capable. But that's incomplete. So the sixth shift. Redefine your standard. Not just what can I do, but how do I show up? Calm under pressure. Clear in communication. Respectful in conflict. Because those traits create consistency. Now here's the final shift. And this is what separates average from elite. Talent creates opportunities. Emotional intelligence sustains them. So the seventh shift. Invest in both. Keep improving your skills. But equally, develop your awareness, your control, your understanding of people. Because when those combine, you become dangerous. Not just capable, reliable, influential. Now step back. Think about people you respect. Not just for what they do, but how they are: calm, composed, clear. That's not accidental. That's emotional intelligence. And that's why they stand out. Now look at yourself. Where does your talent take over? And where does your emotion take control? Because that difference is your ceiling. And once you raise it, everything changes. Not overnight, but permanently. Because now, you're not just skilled. You're aware. You're not just capable. You're controlled. And that combination is rare. So the question is simple. Will you rely on talent alone, or will you build the awareness that actually sustains success? Because one gets you started. The other keeps you there. Choose carefully. Because in the long run, how you handle yourself matters more than what you can do. If this changed your perspective, subscribe, because the next video might change your life.